Welcome back to another episode of Ball Don't Lie, presented by Horizon Media. I'm your host, Jacob Fraser, with my co-host, Cam Connolly. And we've got a fun episode today, but before we get into it, Cam, how's it going?
Good, man. It's been an interesting week to say the least in the NBA, so I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying a new setup here. I'm holding my microphone today. We'll see how that goes. I won't be able to look stuff up as easily on my laptop, but we'll try it out. So for this week, we've got our weekly recap as always. Then we'll do a quick standings check-in. We've got a stat of the week this week, and then our two classic segments at the end here, the MVP and LVP, and our Canadian Hooper highlight. So getting into the weekly recap here, biggest news of the week, I'd say Nico Harrison fired as the Dallas Mavericks GM after pulling a crazy trade last year. We were just talking about that. If something like that ever happened again, we'd have to do an emergency episode. But now that Nico Harrison's out of the league, I'm not sure something like that will happen again.
Yeah, like I on one hand, it completely makes sense to fire him because that was just a ridiculous trade. He had a good team and he just ruined it pretty much. But on another hand, you almost didn't get to see his vision play out. Anthony
Mm-hmm.
Davis is hurt, Kyrie Irving's hurt. I think that their results this year, they're not a fair representation of the roster just due to injury as of right now. But on the other hand, he had to go. He was one of the worst GMs. That was one of the worst decisions I think I've ever seen. And you can come out with oh, Luca shows up out of shape, whatever, dude. I mean, what? Like that was terrible.
Yeah. He's still putting up 30-point triple doubles every game. Like, it doesn't matter if he's out of shape.
Yeah, he could be 400 pounds if he's still doing that. Oh, he can't defend. Well, he's still getting some steals. He's still contributing on defense. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I can't really, I still to this day, I don't understand the trade.
I mean, you look at their finals run too, like he really bought in defensively during that time, and it was a one-man show pretty much. Like, Kyrie was injured for a lot of that playoff run and did come back for the finals there. But yeah, I can't see any reason why you would trade a superstar like that, especially for a guy like Anthony Davis, who, yes, he's a good defender. Yes, he can score and everything. He's an all-star in the NBA, but he's made of glass. Like, you can't rely on him to win you games either, really.
Yeah, and it's still puzzling. But one thing that I was reading a lot of stuff about this, and I found it really interesting. Nico Harrison didn't have any GM experience, and I could be wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but he was just an executive at Nike who got brought in to be the GM. And
Yeah,
I'm
he's a
thinking,
good friend of Rob Pelinka.
yeah, like it's it's such a baffling like discovery for me because that's like hiring me to come be the GM. Like I read about the NBA, I've heard of NBA players, I can watch talent, but there was another interesting stat. I can't remember who, but he valued someone like way too high. He put someone, I can't remember who, but he's going to trade like Kyle Kuzma. He was going to trade two first round picks for Kyle Kuzma. What? That doesn't even make sense. Like, and there's another thing. I think everyone remembers how what's his face, Mark Cuban stepped down from basketball operations. I was reading a thing today, and I don't know if it's true. I didn't fact check it, but Mark Cuban's going to come back into basketball operations because Nico Harrison forced him out of it. Like
Hmm.
what? Because he was an executive at Nike, so everyone listens to him. I really don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I know Mark Cuban's been outspoken about the fact that he wasn't happy about that trade at all. Like, we know Mark Cuban has a good relationship with Luka Doncic, and he was the majority owner when they brought him into the team, and he's always had a soft spot for Luka. And then, yeah, the new majority ownership signs off on this trade, and I did see an interview recently. I can't remember what show it was on, but Cuban was saying that he got a text from Nico Harrison when they made that trade. And originally he thought they were asking his permission, and he said, no shot. Like, I'm not okay with this deal. But it turned out Nico Harrison was just letting him know that he was making that deal.
Yeah, just I think it's one of those head scratchers that we'll never have a true answer for unless there's some huge conspiracy that comes out in 10 years that exposes everything and there was some kind of collusion or something, which I mean, people have kind of hinted at, but I'm sure in 20 years we'll have all the answers, but as of right now, all we can do is speculate, and I'm still going to scratch my head on it.
Let's get into some Mavericks talk here. We'll do standings check in, like I said, but I mean, at this point, should the Dallas Mavericks blow it up and start to really build around Cooper Flag rather than keeping guys like Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis on their roster?
I think that blowing it up right now would be a little bit of a panic move, in my own opinion. I mean, Anthony Davis is hurt right now. Kyrie is obviously coming off the ACL injury. He's not playing yet. I don't even know if he'll be back this season. So moving on from guys like that, it just doesn't really make sense to me at this point. You could kind of justify, I think, moving on from Anthony Davis because he's made of glass, and if he still has value, get the value out of him now. But a guy like Kyrie, I think that you should wait. I don't think you should move on from him because he's a guy that I personally think that Kyrie's a guy that can be a top two player on a championship team. I mean, I don't even have to think that. He's proven that. Coming off an ACL tear, who knows? But I think that he's a guy that will also be kind of a good mentor for Cooper Flag, not necessarily off the court stuff, but the on the court stuff. He he tends to play the game the right way. He's seemingly from the outside has a good work ethic. And yeah, I don't think they should blow it up, but maybe a potential retooling as we hear a little too often in Vancouver. But
Yeah, I mean, with this year's draft class, I agree with you because I think guys like Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, they can help you develop those younger players like Cooper Flag, and then with just the strength of this draft class this year, like why not try and tank for another year, get another high draft pick? Maybe you can get Darren Peterson if you get lucky at number one, or you can get a nice consolation prize with Cam Boozer and AJ Dibansta. And right there, you've got two guys for the future and two vets that are proven winners, right? Let's get into some more draft talk, more who has their draft picks because the Oklahoma City Thunder 12-1 to start the year, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, 12-1,
yeah,
right? Um, and they own the LA Clippers unprotected first round pick and a top 8 protected Utah Jazz pick. I mean, like, do they use those picks as trade bait to bring someone in? I don't think they really have the cap room to do that, but it's crazy what they've been able to build over there in Oklahoma City.
yeah, and I think we can all remember the memes when they traded Paul George, like, oh, Rob Pelinka just traded for a seventh grader. Oh, Rob Pelinka, or not Rob Pelinka, sorry, Sam Presti. Sam Presti just traded for a seventh grader. Sam Presti just traded for a fifth grader. Well, now those fifth graders are in college and they have 400 first round picks still. It's like they have an unlimited arsenal of first round picks, by the way, because where are these picks coming from? And you look at the Paul George trade, they have more and more and more picks for the next like 5 years. That OKC is not going anywhere. And the fact that they have I saw someone say this, I'm a paraphrase from them. The fact that they might break the Warriors 73-9 record, win the championship, and then turn around and draft first overall. And that's not even crazy to say out loud. Like, I don't even know how to even react to that. Like, if you're the league, I saw someone saying the the NBA should purposefully tank games against the Clippers to stop OKC from getting a good pick this year. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, someone said that the Clippers 200 IQ'd the league because now teams have to lose against them or they're just going to risk the future of the league.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, another team that owns what looks to be a high draft pick this year is Atlanta, owning New Orleans first round pick from the Derek Queen trade last year. New Orleans obviously trading their 2026 unprotected first for Derek Queen at the draft. I mean, I love Derek Queen in college, but I didn't know how his game was going to translate to the NBA just because he's not your traditional big, but he can play make, he can score, but he's not a good shooter really at the NBA level. So, I mean, it, is it it might be too early to call that a mistake, but just right now it's looking like it could be a big blunder by the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, and I think that New Orleans probably thought they were going to be a little bit more competitive this year when they made that deal. I mean, I personally thought they were going to be more competitive this year. But it just Derek Queen looks a little different than he does in college too. It looks like he's a lot skinnier, and I don't know if that's necessarily changing the way he plays. Maybe he's trying to change like his actual style of play because he kind of has to adapt. It's hard to be an under 6'10" center in the league, and I can't really think of anyone who's been too successful in the last 10 years being a center at that size. So is it a smart trade? As of right now, I'm going to say no. But I think that is something we're going to have to revisit in 5 or 10 years and just kind of see how it plays out.
Yeah, hopefully we're still doing this podcast in 5 or 10 years
Yeah.
to be able to do that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, going back to OKC a little bit, just you mentioned the Arsenal draft picks that they have. If I mean, if they get a top three pick, like eventually they're going to have to start losing guys because they're not going to be able to afford these guys. But as long as they have some superstars on rookie deals, they're not going anywhere. And then if Atlanta can get a guy in the even top five this year, like that takes them to another level as well.
Yeah, like Atlanta's kind of stuck in the middle ground always where, I mean, they fluked out the one year that you don't want to fluke out and they got
Yeah.
Risha at one. Like, you almost feel bad for Atlanta fans because they finally like get lucky. They finally get a good pick, and it's the guy no one even knows, no one's ever heard of, and I still don't know how to say his name properly. And he's been in the league for a year. But yeah, this could be kind of a stroke of luck, and maybe they can find their way out of the play-in. But I'm gonna have to see it to believe it, and I'm still kind of holding out hope that the Pels can turn their season around as I have hopped on the Pelicans bandwagon.
Before we get into our standings check in, you mentioned they finally get lucky. I do want to point out Luka Doncic was traded before he was ever a Dallas Maverick, and it was the Atlanta Hawks that dealt him to Dallas for Trae Young's draft rights. So
And there was a
they,
time when people said that was the most even trade in NBA history, but I think that 3 or 4 years later, it's not looking like it's the most even trade in NBA history.
well, and then now it evens out because the Mavs fumbled Luka. So
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, let's get into our standings check in. You're talking about the New Orleans Pelicans. They're dead last in the Western Conference right now. It's such a deep conference. We talked about OKC being 12-1. Nuggets are 9-2. Spurs 8-3. Like it's going to be a hard conference for a team like the Mavericks or the Pelicans to really break out of and start becoming a true contender to go to the Western Conference Finals, even. But then in the East, you got a team like the Detroit Pistons, 10-2. They're on a heater right now. They've won their last 8 games. It's been an unbelievable start to the year for them.
Yeah, the Pistons, I wouldn't say they came out of nowhere, but they're a little bit surprising. I thought that they would kind of have a mediocre year, and then next year was the year that they'd be around sitting around 10-2. First in the league this early is no small task, but I don't think we should overreact and declare them like a legitimate contender quite yet. I don't think it's not a possibility at all. Like I think they can definitely be a contender, especially in the East right now. I mean, obviously we got our Raptors who are looking pretty hot right now. Scotty Barnes is playing really, really well right now. But yeah, and we go back to the West. I mean, it's interesting to see the huge gap between 9 and 10. It's like the top 9 teams are kind of starting to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. Interesting to see the Suns and Trailblazers are still holding up. I mean, I thought that the Suns would be a bottom feeder this year. I thought the Trailblazers would be a bottom feeder this year. But there they are, still in the playoff picture. And then the Clippers, like we covered, the Grizzlies are sputtering. I mean, we'll touch on them a little bit later. Kings are just poor, poor Kings. And the Rockets have recovered a bit too after their slowish start. But I wanted to touch on the East too, whenever you want. But the bottom 3 teams in the East is just ouch.
Well, I wanted to touch on the Raptors a little bit here because I saw the NBA recently came out their rookie ladder, and absent from the top 10 was Colin Murray Boyles. I mean, you got Con Knipple at 1, Cedric Howard 2, Cooper Flag 3, VJ Edgecombe 4, and then Ryan Kalkbrenner from the Hornets at 5. But then the next 5 guys they have on their ladder, Colin Murray Boyles is nowhere to be found. He's been great to start the season. Like he's shooting 50% from 3. He's only taking 2 a game, but that was a major concern from the combine. He was a guy that all the reports were like, oh, he went like 0 for 30 from three or something like that. It was ridiculous. And so that was a big concern, but he's been shooting the ball well. He's putting up 8.8 points per game. He's almost got a steal a game and half a block a game. Like, I just don't understand how a guy like that, who's been helping this Raptors team win, is outside of the top 10 in the NBA rookie ladder.
Yeah, and it to a box score watcher, maybe it doesn't pop, but if you actually watch the Raptors games, his impact is very clear. Like, and he's a great defender, and that necessarily doesn't always show up in the box score.
Mm-hmm.
But like he's probably one of the most underrated players. And I'm not going to sit here and say Colin Murray Boyles should win Rookie of the Year because, I mean, if we're being honest, he shouldn't win Rookie of the Year based
No.
off just the performance of others. However, should he be in consideration of top 10? Without a doubt. It's a little ridiculous, honestly, for him not to be in the top 10. Top 5, I don't know, but easily top 10.
Yeah, I can understand the top five. The only guy that I'd maybe push out for Boyles is Kalkbrenner, and so maybe you can slot him in at five, but that's more of a toss up. And but after that, like, there's no question to me that he should be in that top 10. You've got Ace Bailey ranked 9. Like, he's not doing anything crazy. So, yeah, I mean, let's get back to some standings talk. I'm shocked with the 76ers, especially like we've talked about VJ Edgecombe a lot here. And he had that unbelievable start to his rookie season. He's really tailed off since then, but they've been winning even without VJ Edgecombe playing at the top of his abilities.
Yeah, and it's a testament to Tyrese Maxey, I think. Tyrese Maxey is playing unbelievable. He's kind of separated from like the mid-tier star to the high-tier star. He's looking like a legit guy. Maybe I don't want to declare. I love to say this for some reason, but I don't want to declare him as a number one option on a championship team quite yet. But he's starting to look like he has that trajectory, which if you're a Sixers fan, I mean that has to be good. And another thing is Jared McCain has got sent down to the G League, so it's not like Jared McCain is the one picking up BJ Edgecombe's slack. Just something is working in Philly, and off the back of Tyrese Maxey, I'm pretty sure Paul George isn't even back yet. Not to say that Paul George will positively impact this team, but I haven't actually looked at Joel Embiid's numbers. But
I was just pulling those up. He's been playing really well, and I've been a big hater of him to start the year, but he's averaging almost 20 points a game. He's shooting the ball well, or fairly well, to start this season. So it has been a good start to the year, but he's only played 6 games.
yeah, I mean that's always the narrative around him. But I'm happy for all my Sixers fans that I know because after years and years of struggle, you finally start to look up, and then it looked like you're back in the dumps again. But here you are back in the top three. I do think they're going to fizzle out, and I'll say that on the record. I'm not. I'm still not confident they're going to be even a play-in team, but I don't want to say that they won't be a play-in team anymore. But I will declare right now, I don't think they're going to be a top 6 team in the East when the season is over.
Yeah, that's fair. Is there anything else you wanted to get to in the standings here?
Yeah, my Charlotte Hornets. I'm also on their bandwagon. Apparently, I jumped on bandwagons of teams that aren't so great. However, they're hanging around and they haven't had LaMelo Ball for their last 5 games. They haven't necessarily been winning in their last 5 games, but they're still right around the play-in hunt. I'm still hoping that they can take a step and make the play-in this year. I just need LaMelo Ball to be healthy, please. I traded for you in fantasy also. I'm actually begging LaMelo Ball. If you like basketball, just play through an ankle injury one time. That's all I want.
Did you see all the stuff about the Timberwolves taking Ant Edwards over him and LaMelo Ball apparently wanting to be president of the United States after his NBA career?
I mean, anyone who watched Ball in the Family, I don't think you're surprised that LaMelo Ball said that. I used to love watching that. The wild, what did LeVar call him? Wild Boy? There's that episode, Wild Boy, Wild Child, something like that. It seems fitting.
Do you watch that on Facebook?
I would just watch like whatever got posted on YouTube, just the clips,
Oh,
and
okay.
I don't know. I loved it. I was in a grade 10, I think, when it was at its peak. I'd watch every episode that was on YouTube. I still watch it sometimes when I'm bored, to be honest.
I bought a Big Baller Brand hoodie and I gave it to my nephew a couple years ago. So he's still rocking that thing, proud.
I wanted a Big Baller Brand hoodie. I was all over it. I also wanted to get a pair of ZO2s, but
I know, I did too. I remember LeVar being like, because everybody was ripping him for the ZO2s costing $400 or something like that, and I'm saying collect bottles around your neighborhood so you can save up.
I considered it.
All right, let's shift over to our stat of the week here. I just thought this was super interesting. Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle, first two players in NBA history to score 20-point triple doubles on the same team in a loss. I know you had some numbers, but I just wanted to ask you, like, is are you impressed if a player puts up a triple double at this point in the NBA? Like, it just seems like it happens every game. There's someone that's putting up a triple double or one rebound or one assist away from it. Like, is it an impressive stat at this point in the NBA, in the modern day NBA?
I don't think it carries the same weight that it used to. And I think that for me to be impressed, you have to put up a ridiculous triple double, which it's unfortunate to say out loud, to be honest. Like you think of a guy like Jokic. If Jokic has 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, I don't think anyone's happy. I think people are gonna actually get on the internet and say, Jokic, you suck. Like, what happened? You're washed, right? But when Jokic is putting up 45, 17, and 18, now I'm batting my eyes a little bit. I'm like, whoa, that's impressive. But you get a guy, I mean, 20-point triple double in today's NBA. In You got to separate it, right? Is it impressive in a vacuum? Yes. Is it impressive in a vacuum of NBA triple doubles this season? Honestly, not really. There have been way more impressive performances. And I know how I'm sounding right now. I know that this sounds ridiculous to say out loud, but anyone who disagrees with me is just straight up lying. If you can tell me right now that you're impressed with a 20-point triple double, you're lying to my face right now with the amount of triple doubles that we see in the NBA. I have a stat here. From 2010 to 2014, there were 161 total triple doubles in the NBA. Last season, there was 149 triple doubles. There's some kind of inflation. I don't know if it's when Russell Westbrook had the MVP campaign and he averaged a triple double. I don't know if people started chasing triple doubles because of that. I don't know what it is, but there's triple double inflation, and it seems like no one's talking about it.
Yeah, it does seem to be stemming from back when Russ and James Harden were putting up a triple double like every other game. Russ obviously broke the record with, what was it, 42 in a season, something ridiculous like that. I did want to bring back an old stat line, not a real stat line, but just the NBA graphic. I don't know if you remember Timothy Mozgov's performance in 2014, that 93 points and 29 rebounds on
That's an
10 for
impressive
15 shooting.
that's an impressive stat right there.
Yeah.
No, but like a guy like Jokic, he's just made you numb to these great performances that
Yeah.
just don't look so great when you put him next to arguably the greatest player of our generation.
Well, yeah, like a guy like Jokic, a guy like Luka, you expect like 30-point triple doubles every single game. And
Yeah.
so when it becomes an expectation, it, like you said, it doesn't carry the same weight as it used to when it was like back in Oscar Robertson's day when he was putting up triple doubles and averaging a triple double. That was unbelievable because nobody could do that. But now it's like a guy like Kyle Kuzma can go put up a triple double no problem one random night.
Well, yeah, and like when you get triple doubles, like I think the craziest triple double I've ever seen was Luka's triple double, the 60 point, 21 rebound, 10 assist triple double. When you're hearing stuff like that, 10, 10, and 10, it doesn't sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
I know that game went to overtime, but that was one of the craziest performances ever. But what do people remember it as? A 60-point triple double.
Yeah, for sure. Let's shift over to MVP and LVP here. I'll kick it off with my MVP of the week. I've got Anthony Edwards, 32.7 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists on 52% field goal percentage and 53% from three. I mean, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the T-Wolves went 3-0 during that time, maybe 2-1, but I mean, 30 points on those kind of shooting splits is just unbelievable from Anthony Edwards. We know he's a superstar in the NBA, but
he's one of the
Yeah,
most
like
fun players to watch too. Like when you
yeah,
watch him, especially in the playoffs, like the stuff that he does is just satisfying to say. Like when I was watching them play the Lakers, and he's always doing that little like fake, like almost like a rondo fake into a step back, or not step back, sorry, he pivots off into a fade. And he does it so often, and it just looks satisfying. He's got the cool armband. He's got a good personality, like
good
and
personality. Send a video.
well, good personality, entertaining personality, I guess. But I don't know. I'm a fan. 53% from three is pretty crazy too, especially with the amount
Yeah,
that he takes.
yeah, for sure. Let's get into your MVP this week.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about this guy all episode, and for good reason. I mean, mine is going to be Nikola Jokic. Now, in his last three games, 40.7 points per game, 13.7 rebounds per game, and 9 assists per game. And you're probably not so flattered because he didn't average 10 assists per game, proving my point. However, it, like I was saying, he's made us numb to crazy stat lines. Like the guy is just a freak. He's not even the favorite to win MVP, and he's putting up numbers like this, and it's ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I know Wemby is an alien. Shea is gonna average what 35 a game, which is also crazy to say just to brush that off. But I mean, this guy is. I don't know if we have a nickname for Jokic besides the Joker, but we need a cooler nickname than the Joker. I mean, I can't think of one, but put one in the comments below.
Let's yeah, I mean it's unbelievable. Like it's voter fatigue too. Like the guy's won a few MVPs now. Like people don't want to just hand him out to him every year, but he's putting up MVP seasons every single year. So it's hard to gauge whether or not it's a voter fatigue thing or a guy like SGA or Wemby this year is actually outperforming Nikola Jokic. But let's go to your LVP.
Yeah, so my LVP of the week is Ja Morant, and when I read his numbers out loud, they actually don't sound too bad. I mean, he's averaged 16 points per game, 3.3 rebounds per game, and a pretty impressive 11 assists per game. But where these numbers get pretty bad is when you start to look at the splits. 27% from the field and 24% from three, and they went 1 and 2 this week. You're the superstar of a team. You can't be shooting 24% from the field, or sorry, 24% from three or 27% from the field. 16 points per game. It might cut it if you're shooting 50% from the field, but you're just wasting shots. You're wasting possessions. And I mean, we talked about him last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I actually don't know. But
Last week, yeah.
he just looks checked out. He just looks like he doesn't care. I'm surprised. I was actually really shocked to see he was averaging 11 assists per game this week, but uh, they need to just get rid of him, to be honest. I think that they're not going to build any kind of winning culture with an unhappy Ja Morant around.
You talk about the shooting splits, and I just want to point out a comment that we got on TikTok. We posted a Raptors clip all over our socials last week and talking about RJ Barrett. And Noah in our TikTok comments said, "We need a point guard," referring to the Raptors. And your reply was Ja, because a lot of our discussion last week was about Ja's trade rumors, specifically going to the Raptors, what he could add there. And when you commented Ja, he replied, "Nope, can't shoot and immature." So, I mean, maybe Noah's right in the TikTok comments there. He shot 27% from the field, like you said, and 24% from three. Like that is definitely a concern, and that's something that the Raptors don't need. They need guys that can shoot the three.
Yeah, and it's he's so exciting, he's so explosive, but he just keeps doing the same things over and over again. And I think he really is one of the guys who really needs a change of scenery.
Yeah, I would agree. But yeah, I'll get into my LVP. I've got DeAndre Ayton. The points don't look too bad this week, 10.3, but it's more the rebounds for me. He's averaged 5.3 rebounds this week for the Lakers. They've been desperate for a center for years. DeAndre Ayton was looking like, okay, maybe this guy can be the guy. All they need is a rim runner, rim protector, and rebounder. And he's not rebounding the ball very well. So you need way more out of DeAndre Ayton. I don't care. Like I said, you can put up 10 points. It doesn't matter. You got Luca putting up 40. You got Austin Reeves putting up 20. But on the season he's averaging 7.5, like that's not good enough from the Lakers' number one center.
Yeah, and it's a shame to see that DeAndre Ayton hasn't panned out. I was really excited when DeAndre Ayton came into the league. If you could buy stock in player, I would have bought a lot of stock in him. I mean, I wasn't old enough, but we went to Arizona, I remember, for a hockey tournament when he was at Arizona, and me and my teammate, we begged our coach. We were supposed to go to Coyotes game. We begged our coach to go watch Arizona versus Arizona State to see DeAndre Ayton play because we were all in on DeAndre Ayton, and to see him averaging 10 points per game and 6 rebounds per game, or is it five? 5 rebounds per game. Uh, it just sucks. Like, and also he just doesn't seem to care. I remember last year when he
Mm-hmm.
was in Portland. I don't know if you remember this. He didn't go to a game because the roads were too icy. Like, dude, you're a professional basketball player. You couldn't get like winter tires. You couldn't get like a
Hop in
solution.
an Uber.
Yeah, like it. uh, I didn't see photos of what it looked like, but I've never heard of that before. Does he even like basketball?
I've been to a few Portland games in the past couple of years. Just take the drive, 5 hour drive down south to Portland, and I've gotten to watch DeAndre Ayton, and I watched him not really do much out there. So yeah, he just that's been his issue his whole career. He's not bought into any teams he's been a part of. That was a problem with the Suns. It's been a problem with the Trailblazers, and now it's looking like it could be another problem with the Lakers. I mean, at what point do you go, okay, you're just not NBA material anymore?
Yeah, send him to Guangdong. I don't know, but I actually thought that he was having a decent start to the season, and if he can get back on that track, then maybe we're having a different conversation. But it looks like he's starting to slip, and I really hope that he can get back on track because, like I said, I was all in on DeAndre Ayton when he came into the league.
I was a big fan of that Arizona team too. I remember um, me and my buddy would always watch the Wildcat games, and shout out to Ira Lee on that Arizona team. He was nasty. Didn't make
Yeah,
the league, but he was good.
yeah, that was the year. I think that was the year that Virginia lost in round one to Farley Dickinson. Was it? No, it was.
No, would have been, oh, what was that school? UNBC or something
Right,
like
you're
that.
right, UNBC. And I mean, that kind of stole the thunder from DeAndre Ayton because that is what everyone remembers from that season. No one remembers DeAndre Ayton's numbers. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate to say the least.
Let's get into our last segment here, our Canadian Hooper highlight. You've got this one. You picked this week, so take it over here.
Yeah, Shaden Sharp finally panning out to be something, and he had good shooting splits this week too. When I say these numbers, but he averaged 29 a game. He added 5.7 rebounds per game, and I mean he only did add 1.6 assists per game. So sticking to his little stereotype of not being the best facilitator, but he also added a steal per game on top of that as well. So it a great week from Shaden. I remember I was starting. I don't remember. I still was a little worried that he was gonna. He didn't necessarily have his footing, but I was worried that someone was gonna rip the carpet out from underneath him and he's gonna fall flat on his face, just because he wasn't doing what he could, and I hope that he can continue this.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Shaden Sharp. I actually remember when he was in eighth grade, he was playing for grassroots, whatever AAU team that is here in Canada. They were from Toronto, and they were playing in a summer tournament here in in Langley, in the Langley Event Center. And so me and a couple of my buddies went to watch because Elijah Fisher was on that team, and he was the big number one star coming out of Canada. And we watched our game in the finals, and we were there to watch Elijah Fisher, like I said, but Shaden Sharp, he was a year younger, eighth grader, and he just dominated. Like he was unbelievable. So I've been a big fan of his since then. I've kind of followed his career. Weird to say that I was a fan of an eighth grader, but whatever. We'll
He's
move
older than
past
you.
that. No, I don't think he is.
Is he younger than us?
Yeah, because I was in like 10th grade or something when I went to watch him. Let me
Hold
see
on.
how old he is.
Oh my gosh, he's younger than us. That is insane.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, there's a
2 years
co-curricular.
younger than me. 10th grader cheering on a little eighth grader.
That's funny. But no, like I remember hearing about Shaden Sharp too, and I mean I don't know how many Americans listen to this, but as a Canadian, when you hear about a Canadian on the come up, especially in basketball, because there's not too many, everyone knows about him. And I remember this is the remember episode, I guess. But I remember when we read the thing that he's not going to take like the traditional college route. I started to get a little bit worried because I thought he
Hmm.
was going to be the next big thing. This was before Shea had kind of established himself, and I thought Shaden Sharp was going to be what Shea is now. And then he did that, and it hadn't really worked out for anyone. He did it with someone else. What was his name again? Hamadou Diallo or something,
Yeah, I
or
think
took a
Diallo was a
similar
couple
path.
years before that, but yeah, it was a similar path to that, and he's another guy that, I mean, he had so much athleticism and so much hope, but yeah,
Yeah,
that didn't work out for him.
and that pathway just hadn't been working too because you look at a guy like Kyrie Walker, and I don't know how many of you guys remember Kyrie Walker. Interestingly enough, he actually played for a few seasons in the CEBL, but
Yeah,
he
that's right.
he he didn't go to college. He just took the year off the train, and then no NBA team even looked at him. So I thought maybe he was screwing himself over there, but I guess his talent was still good enough. He might have had an injury actually also on top of that, but Shaden Sharp that is. But
Mhm.
it he made it to the league and he's finally putting it on. Now hopefully Shaden can put one of these on, maybe but a basketball player, put one of these on and represent us internationally.
Yeah, he would be a huge addition to the team. Like, obviously you've got SGA, but I think he's a guy that could step up and be that number two scorer. Maybe you got RJ, but Shaden's a really good player and crazy athlete. So yeah, hopefully he can wear a Canadian jersey sometime soon. Um, but yeah, I mean, is there anything else you wanted to get to in this episode? I feel like we've just been doing be- ugh,
Blast
blast
from the
from the
past.
past. I kind of want to get into this reminiscent talk here.
I know it's fun. I mean, where were you when Shea got traded? I guess
I don't even remember. I probably would have been at hockey practice or something.
I was in my basement playing Rocket League, and I remember seeing Kawhi signed with the Clippers, and then a few minutes later, I can't remember minutes or hours now, but I was still playing Rocket League, and I see Paul George got moved to the Clippers, and I remember I had a punching bag in my in the room beside me, and I went and I punched a punching bag for like 5 minutes, and I cut all my knuckles on my hand because I was so mad that Kawhi left, and then the Clippers got Paul George. And then the next week came out, and Shea got traded to the other way, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm an OKC fan now. But then they draft Chet Holmgren, and I am not a Chet Holmgren fan. So I can't even hop on the OKC wagon. I would honestly be lying if I sat here and said I was cheering for OKC in the last finals just because of how much I have a distaste in my mouth for Chet Holmgren. Pause.
What's that what's that kid's name that used to beef with LaMelo Ball all the time? He's like 5'5".
Julian Newman.
Julian Newman, that's what his name was. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about Kyrie Walker and I started thinking about Julian Newman.
Oh,
How he
dude.
still thinks he can get to the league.
Oh, averaging what? Wasn't he averaging like 2 points per game on like 17% from the field in like D3 NAIA or something like that? I'm pretty sure I could do better than that.
Yeah, I just pulled up his he's got an ESPN page at Bethesda Bethesda University. He averaged 3 points per game on 16% shooting.
Oh boy. Or do you remember when they finally played when he was at what? Was he at Downey Christian at this time? And they were playing or was it
Yeah.
Prodigy Prep or something?
Yeah, Prodigy Prep.
And they were playing Spire and what's the dad's name? I don't
Oh, I
even
can't remember the dad's name.
it's like something eyebrows, let's call them eyebrows. And he's like, we're gonna shock the world. People are gonna be talking about us. And then you see LaMelo Ball purposefully let Julian Newman go by just to smack the ball down. Comes back down the court, East Bay lob off the backboard. The Rocket Watts comes down, punch it. I'm like, yeah, Julian, it's over for you, buddy.
Do you remember that 7'7" dude that was like 150 pounds that played for Spire?
Oh, I remember him, but I can't remember his name.
His name was like Robert something.
Oh yeah, yeah. Whatever happened to that guy?
Oh, I just found him. Robert, I can't pronounce his last name. From Romania.
Yeah, did he? I'm assuming he didn't go anywhere.
I just pulled up his Instagram. He's got 55,000 followers, no posts.
Bots? No,
All
that's
right.
funny.
Well,
That's too good.
yeah, I mean let's just wrap up there. Yeah, it's fun to do a little blast from the past,
Yeah.
but we can finish things up there. Thank you for watching and listening to Ball Don't Lie. We've got some other shows that I've been mentioning. We finally went live with our hockey show In the Slot. That one is hosted by myself and Keenan Tragaskis. Keenan also does a baseball show with his buddy Alex Tanaka, The Bench and the Bleachers. So be sure to check those out on Horizon Media's YouTube, and make sure to like and subscribe on this video. And thank you for watching.